Hey, what's up everybody? Jake here and welcome to the hobby. In today's video, I wanted to talk about why do Pokemon cards like to boom and bust. What is it about Pokemon cards that make them go from being a $1 card just a couple of months ago to being a $8 card in the span of just a couple of months? So this is a card that goes from $1 to $7 to $8, which is easily, that's a 700% multiplier. Same kind of scenarios with the PSA graded copies of this card. It used to be as cheap as $22. The Lucario V-Star, the ETB promo from Crown Zenith, used to be a $22 card in a PSA 10, and now it's currently going for as much as $100 for a PSA 10. So that's a 5x multiplier on this graded copy. Same with many other cards. So this is not a unique scenario that we are currently seeing. We're seeing this across multiple cards. Same with this Sleepy Mew card. Same scenario with the graded copies. Used to be a $50 card back in September, and now it's going for well over $175. We also have ourselves the Sleepy Snorlax, lots of Sleepy Pokemon. This one was the ETB promo inside of the 151 Elite Trainer box. Used to be a 80 cents, 70 cents, 69 cents card, and now it's going for upwards of $7. So that is a 1000% multiplier, and you can see a similar scenario with the PSA copies. Used to be a $25 PSA 10, and now it's going for over $100. And this occurs with tons and tons of Pokemon cards, so it's not unique to these ones right now. So what is it about these cards? What is it about the psychology of collectibles that make them climb so quickly and rapidly in value? But the thing about the boom is that usually with a really big boom, there's also a bust, and that's what I want you guys to avoid today, is to avoid the bust. Before we get started, I would like to thank Misprint for sponsoring today's video. If you guys haven't heard, Misprint is a brand new marketplace that makes it easier than ever to buy and sell your Pokemon cards. They are a new service, however, I really believe in the value that Misprint has to offer to any collector. Misprint is run by Ava's Binder, another content creator and a fellow colleague of mine, and I do believe that Misprint has a great opportunity to absolutely revolutionize the way that you and I collect Pokemon cards in the future. Definitely check them out. Sign up is super easy. What Misprint offers to you is a super easy way to buy and sell your Pokemon cards. In the past, if I wanted to buy any Pokemon cards, I would have to scroll through thousands of listings. And if I want to sell my Pokemon cards, I would have to take photos of the cards and create a listing of it. And that's just super convoluted and really confusing. Misprint takes all of that away. If I want to buy an EV promo card in a PSA 10, I know that I can buy one immediately at $300, and if I want to sell one now, I can sell one at immediately $200. And that is a little bit of a wider spread, but that is going to be tighter and tighter as more people sign up to Misprint, because I can immediately raise my hand and say, hey, I'm willing to bid $220 for this EV promo card, and then anyone who is willing to sell me one for $220 can do that, and I will get that copy from them immediately. They are offering us a true marketplace to buy and sell Pokemon cards with super low selling fees, and at the same time having some of the best practices in the hobby. If you sign up to Misprint right now, they are offering some really cool mispriced graded Pokemon cards where you can get copies of really cool cards like this Charizard VMAX PSA 10 for as low as $5. Definitely check out Misprint, because I do believe they are absolutely going to blow up in the future. Thank you so much to Misprint for sponsoring today's video, and let's get back to why Pokemon cards like to boom. The biggest reason why I think Pokemon cards like to boom, it's all in the psychology of Pokemon cards. The thing is, when Pokemon cards are plentiful, people don't actually buy them. When a card is 80 cents, no one has any desire to pick up this card when they know it's plentiful, it's readily available. And this Lucario V-Star, while being a super cool alt art card, is an ETB promo card. It's available inside of every single Crown Zenith ETB. It's not truly that rare. Then why, do you ask, do people want to pick it up so quickly and so rapidly in such a short period of time? The big reason is because psychology. If you see that this card is climbing up in value, you are thinking the best time to pick it up is now because it's only going to get more and more expensive. But the thing with that psychology is that it's not just you thinking that, it's every other collector who's also looking at these cards. Other people are also looking at this Lucario B Star. Other people are also looking at this Sleepy Mew. Other people are also looking at this Snorlax. And everyone at the exact same time is thinking, oh my goodness, I need to pick up this card immediately because it's going to jump up in value. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. When everyone thinks, hey, this card is going to go up in value, I should pick one up, and they all do it at the same time, it does actually inflate the value of the card, and quite rapidly too. But the thing is, when a card increases rapidly, like this Persian card, it can also experience a quick dip in value. And that's mainly because if you have a copy of this card and you picked it up at $20 just a couple of months ago, and you see that's worth $75 right now, you are going to go onto the market and say, hey, I'm going to sell this card because there's really no reason for me to not sell it. It's worth way more now. I might be able to get something even cooler down the line. And this is the same thing that happens to graded copies of this card. In fact, I do think that graded cards are going to experience the biggest dip in the future. And that's because if you have a copy of this card raw, and it's been sitting inside of your collection, you're going to think that the best time to grade it is right now. You're going to grade this card because you bought it for 20 bucks or you pulled it for free, and now you're going to grade it, and it's worth $400? $400 for a Persian and PSA 10, and that's mainly because there just aren't enough PSA 10 copies of this card. But this is a brand new card. There's going to be many more Shrouded Fable booster packs open and ripped over the next 2 to 3 years, and there's going to be so many more PSA 10 copies of this card hitting the market over the next 3 years, and I do think that's going to slowly dip down the prices on these cards. So the big reasons why cards like to climb in value is because people put a precedent on scarce card, and this is the exact same thing that happens to lots of other products and commodity. A great example of that happening right now is the eggs over here in the United States. We currently have an egg shortage. And the thing about egg shortages, or any products really, is that when there's a shortage of products, people should be buying them less or eating or consuming them less. And the big reason why people should buy less is that, hey, if they're scarce and their prices are climbing rapidly, you would think that people would buy less of it because it's more expensive and it's more scarce. But the exact opposite happens. The psychology of it is that people will buy more eggs. People, instead of buying a dozen eggs like they normally would, they suddenly go, oh darn, this thing is currently climbing in value. I need to purchase a dozen eggs, 2 dozen eggs, 3 dozen eggs, because I want to make sure I have enough eggs for the next week, because if eggs is climbing and I buy more now, then I'm technically saving money. So that's actually what happens in a shortage, is people will buy double or triple what they normally need because they expect a shortage to happen. And like I said, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. When everyone buys extra, it creates that shortage, and it creates that self-fulfilling prophecy where prices do actually inflate because everyone bought the exact same thing at the exact same time. We actually see this happening quite often. The last time this occurred was with toilet paper during the pandemic. Now, you and I both know toilet paper is not going to run out. There's no reason for us to actually run out of toilet papers. Then why did everyone buy toilet paper? Well, because if your neighbor is buying toilet paper and everyone you know is buying toilet paper, you better also buy toilet paper because you don't want to be the only one without toilet paper. And it creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. Again, it's that shortage. We create the shortage when there really shouldn't be one. So the same kind of scenario is currently happening with Pokemon cards. And this isn't just happening with graded cards, it's also happening with sealed products. Why are ETBs and all of these other sealed products that should be plentiful so scarce right now? Well, because if you think that Pokemon cards are going to be scarce for the next 6 to 8 months, instead of buying one ETB, which you might normally do, you might end up picking 2 or 3 ETBs up just in case. So you are doubling or tripling the amount of sealed products that you're picking up at the same time as everyone else is also doubling or tripling the amount of sealed products they pick up, and we create that shortage. Normally, I might only pick up one booster box for an upcoming set, but currently I'm picking up 2 or 3 booster boxes for the same set because I don't know if I can get more products. And I want to make sure that I have enough products to open for my channels and to do giveaways and all of that. So I'm also part of the problem. I'm increasing the amount of products that I currently buy. And that's not something that's easily avoidable because if everyone's buying extra copies of Lucario V-Star and Sleepy Mew and Sleepy Snorlax, so many Sleepy Pokemon. If everyone's picking up extra copies of these, you don't want to be the only one left out. So that's what happens. It's a mad rush to get all of these cards picked up as they climb and climb up in value. But at the same time, remember, collectibles are very volatile. When they start to dip, it's a mad rush to the bottom as well. Now, I don't think something like this Persian card is going to dip back down to being a $20 card. I do think it's going to probably stay at a higher price than what it used to be. What usually happens with these cards is that they climb up 5 steps of stairs and then they fall back down 2 or 3 steps. So they usually end up higher than where they initially started off, but you don't want to be at the top of that staircase when those cards start falling. So if you picked up this card at $75 after it used to be as low as $30 just 2 or 3 weeks ago, then that's the difference that you're paying. Who's buying this Persian illustration rare at all-time peaks, you know? I don't want to be that guy, and I hope you aren't that guy either. And I actually have a vested interest in these cards going up in value. The thing is, I have probably 24 Lucario V-Star cards. I'm incentivized to make sure this card is as expensive as possible because I have 20 copies. If I send all those copies to grading, and each card comes back as a PSA 10, then I have $2,000 apparently. That's absolutely ridiculous. This is an ETB promo. It's available inside of every single Crown Zenith Elite Trainer box. There's probably 100,000 copies of it. There really isn't a reason for it to be this expensive. That's it for today's video. We just covered the booms and busts of the hobby. This is the big reason why Pokemon cards climb up in value and at the same time why they dip so heavily after a period of hype. Let me know what your thoughts are. Hopefully this helps you guys avoid buying stuff at the absolute peak, and knowing that FOMO exists, and I experience FOMO as well, can at least help you recognize it in your own thoughts in the future, and hopefully it avoids you from picking up cards at their all-time peak. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.